YouTube. Okay, so I'm gonna do another story time. So this one is about this kind of creepy guy who, it was the summer before 9th grade. So yeah, pretty creepy. Okay. So how it started was, our school was starting late because, like, all the other schools had started already because our school had to get modifications done to it or whatever because we were transferring buildings. So we were stuck into school. So when we did finally go to school, it ended in June. So yeah, anyways, so I was walking and I was like, nothing to do. So I sat down on this bench. It's like a bus stop, but like I live in a suburb, so like the bus isn't coming. Yeah. So I did that. And I was waiting there, and I was just texting my friend, and then all of a sudden I heard this voice from behind me, and it said, "Hey," and I said, "Oh, hi," and he said, "Do you know when the bus is coming?" I said, "Oh, no, I'm just sitting here." I said, "Do you need to take the bus?" Of course he didn't need to take the bus. He drove in like this nice black car. He said, "No." So then he walks over to me. Okay, I'm going to give you a description of him. He's like this bigger guy, probably like 30s, like buzz cut, like wore a hat. So yeah, white male, the usual. So then he sits down on like the grass part because there's a bench and then there's a grass, and I'm on the bench and I'm like, okay. And he said, so what's your name? I said, Jade. And he's like, nice, I'm Dan. And then he gives me his hand like to shake, and I'm like, so yeah. And then like he starts having like a conversation about me, and he's like, so like blah blah, and then he's like, I don't know, we were having a conversation, and then he offered me a cigarette. He's like, do you want to smoke? I'm like, oh no, I don't smoke because I don't do drugs, kids, because I'm like a little 14-year-old. Yeah, right, I was 14. Yeah, I had just turned 14. But so then he does that, and I'm like, oh no. And so then he like talks, and he's like, oh, you're really pretty, and just stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And I know his game plan. He knows I'm a little child. He knows I'm all alone. He's trying to like groom me. Like, you don't do that to a child. So then I'm sitting there, and he's like, oh, so how old are you? Like 18? I said, no, I'm 14. He said, oh, wow. Well, you look a lot older. Okay. I'm like, oh, yeah. So then after that, he keeps having a conversation with me, but it kind of like, he's like trying to figure out the waters. And he keeps coming at me. So then he's like, hey, so what's there to do around insert my town name? I say, well, nothing really. Like, there's like a few parks, and like going to a park is really the only thing to do here. Or like eat at like Applebee's. And he's like, oh, well, do you want to like take a ride in my car to go and check out if there's anything fun to do? I said, I like sitting on this bench, but thanks. And he like said, ah, shucks. No, he didn't actually say that. No, but he was thinking, well, okay. So then he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, And so then that happens, and then he decides like that he's like gonna leave now. So then he's like, well, it was nice knowing you, Jade. And then he says, puts his hand out and I shake it again, like, He's like, well, I'll see you around, okay? I said, okay. He's like, well, bye. I said, bye. And then he goes in his car, and then he goes away, like, after I told him I don't want to ride in his car. Like, you don't ask a minor that after you find out that they are a minor. So, yeah, that was my story for y'all. I hope that you enjoy it, and yeah, stay tuned for next time. Bye.